Patterson Hood, welcome to Australian Musician.
Yeah.
According to the schedule I'm looking at, you're either in Grand Rapids, Michigan or Warren, Ohio.
I'm in Warren, Ohio.
Okay. You're currently on tour. How's the tour going?
Going great. It's going really good. The shows have been kind of magnificent, and crowds have been really good. It's been I think the biggest crowds we've been seeing since lockdown was over. It's been definitely kind of a step up. It's been really nice. We had like nearly 3,000 people in Chicago and nearly 3,000 in Minneapolis, and really good. And we're playing everything. We're playing a lot of songs. It's been, I think on average, we've been probably out of the 14 albums, probably hitting about 11 or 12 a night.
Okay.
And at least a song off of everything. And we're probably doing 3 or 4 a night off Club XIII, and definitely trying to hit Dirty South a little extra hard because we're really proud of the reissue. I think it really turned out good. So we're hitting a few of the hits off that pretty hard. But as far as the rest of the set, it's kind of drawing from everywhere.
So does your set change much from gig to gig? And by the time you get to Australia, will it change again?
It changes every night. We don't do a set list. So we literally decide the first song about 30 minutes before we go on. And sometimes the second song, and then it's just everything goes from there on. It's like nobody knows what's coming next. And Cooley and I go back and forth. Often he'll do the first song and I'll do the second, and then we just go back and forth. And I have no idea what he's going to do while I'm doing my song, and vice versa. But we've got like hand signals, like baseball teams, and ways of kind of signaling each other about what's coming next, so that it usually kind of works, and it keeps us on our toes. It makes us really listen to each other, which I think is a good thing and makes us play better.
Yeah,
and it's different every night because it's all based on how we feel in the room and how the crowd is, and that has as much to do with it as anything.
Yeah, I guess the alternative is being connected to pyrotechnics and
Right.
and cues. I guess that'd be a nightmare for you guys.
It would be. It would be a bummer, and I mean, I get it. As far as if we were Kiss or something, but a pyro shit makes my head hurt, so I can't even fathom doing that anyway.
Yeah.
Although Jason Isbell's doing lasers on his tour, and I got to say the lasers look kind of cool. But no, we don't have lasers. We can't afford lasers. So
I see you caught up with Jason a few months ago. You played a track off the Dirty South with him. How was that experience?
It was great. We're super close, and I think I was his first fan and his biggest fan, and because I knew he was a genius before the rest of the world knew, and so I'm really just couldn't be prouder of him as a human being, for figuring it out and not dying, and getting his shit together and becoming what he was destined to become, because he was destined for one of two things, and I'm really happy with the one it ended up being, because he's so great. And I think his new record is stunning, and the band live is better than it's ever been, and so I'm just I'm super proud of him.
Yeah. You're coming out to Australia at Easter next year for Bluesfest. It's been a while, 2009 I think, since you were last here. What are your memories of the last Australian tour?
It's kind of a sad story. We had like a 3 a.m. layover in LAX, and I was starving because we'd flown in from Atlanta kind of late, and I probably missed dinner or something. And so I got one of those sandwiches you get when everything's closed at the airport, like that you just, and I got food poisoning. And so just as we were coming in to land in Melbourne, I started going, I don't feel good. And I was sick as shit. And I missed the whole tour other than the shows. And the shows were a blast. We had Booker T. Jones with us on that tour, and we were backing him up for songs off his, well, Potato Hole that we did with him, as well as classic Booker T and the MG songs. And he played with us, so we just made it one big thing, and it was so fun. But I was so sick. All I saw of Australia were the venues and the bathroom of the hotel I was in, and or hotels I was in, until we got to Byron Bay, and then the torrential rain started, and so I didn't see anything then. So really all I saw was like hotel rooms and venues, and I'm so bummed. So I've been dying to come back. I'm really excited about this tour.
Yeah, you got some catching up to do.
For sure, for sure. And everybody I met was super cool and super nice. And I've always wanted to come there, since I was a kid. So I'm really excited to finally go back.
Yeah. I've always loved Southern rock bands, like the Allman Brothers, Georgia Satellites, Marshall Tucker Band. I love the raggedness and the looseness of those bands.
Right.
What is it about the South that brings out that vibe?
I think the climate has to do with it a little bit, because it's so hot, and so it's like it makes you play different playing in such high humidity and the heat. And I'm sure culturally, there's it's such a racially mixed. It's so weird, because the South is famous for its horrific racist stuff that's happened through the years. But at the same time, now I live in like a very different part of the country now. I live in the Northwest. I live in Portland, Oregon, which is, extremely white. And I miss the racial diversity of the South so bad. And because, I didn't buy into the racist bullshit that my region of the country is famous for, as there are a lot of people who feel the same way. I mean, I do, because it's, it only takes, not to say there's only a few, because there were definitely more than a few, but, a small group of the population can really make everything look awful. And there's definitely many Southerners who are just appalled at our racial history down there, and who really celebrate the diversity of our region. And because that's what gives our region its beauty and its strength, and especially the art from the South, is, and so, even, of course, the Allman Brothers were a mixed race band, but even bands like the Georgia Satellites and our band and stuff, we've been so greatly influenced by the cultural diversity of where we grew up.
Yeah, possibly the loosest and most ragged sounding band in rock has been the Band.
Right.
You celebrated that band with a track, Danko Manual, on the Dirty South album. What was it about the Band that you enjoyed, and what inspired that song?
Well, they are my all-time favorite band, and of course, Jason Isbell wrote that song. But and I think for him, I think it was a very personal thing, because I think he was already struggling with some of the demons that nearly killed him later, and that did kill Danko and Manuel. And Jason was definitely struggling with a lot of those demons. And I think he wrote the song very much about that, but he also shared, I think everyone in my band has a deep love for that band. Levon, one of my favorite singers of all time and favorite drummers of all time. And I mean, I love everything about the band.
Yeah. Tell me about the guitars you're currently taking out on the road.
I've got an old, like, not vintage, off the rack Gibson SG from like 2002 that I bought probably around the time we were making Decoration Day, and or maybe slightly after that. And but I love it. It sounds so good. I just kind of know all the sweet spots on it. And but I play that probably the most. I've got a 1969 Gibson Les Paul gold top which is like my one valuable guitar as far as that goes. And I play it some. It's too heavy to play all night, but I love it. And I've got some acoustics that Scott Baxendale built. He's a luthier who he's out of Santa Fe now, but he used to be in Athens, Georgia, and he built a bunch of guitars for Cooley and I. He built 2 of Cooley's electric guitars and 1 of my electric guitars, and I've got like 5 of his acoustics, and they're just wonderful. And then I've got like some old like cowboy guitar, acoustic guitars from like, you know, Gene Autry and stuff from like the 40s and 50s, and I think I've got one that's even from older than that. And so I've got all that stuff. I don't have anything like super expensive. I guess that Les Paul's worth a good bit, but everything else I've got is pretty much, you know, just stuff I found cheap that I could afford.
I just want to quickly ask a couple of questions about your dad.
Yeah.
What are your memories growing up? Did you get to go to the studio much?
Not a lot. And you know, the kids weren't really welcome, and which is understandable. You know, they were working and all that. So I didn't go a lot. The little bit I did was really amazing. And you know, I met Wilson Pickett once, and met the Staple Singers, and Linda Ronstadt came over to our house twice, and that was really cool because the first time I was a little kid and she like read me like bedtime stories, put me to bed, which is really, even then I kind of knew that she was something special. And then she came back when she was like a huge star. She came and played a concert in my hometown, and she came over to the house, and I was like 12. And, you know, she's like, this is like Hasten Down the Wind era. And she's like, you know, stunning. And she came over and spent the day at our house, and we went to the concert. So there were things like that. But I got to hang out with the Roaches. Dad made an early Roaches record before they became the Roaches, when it was just Maggie and Terry. And the first time I ever went to New York was when they mixed that. And that was an amazing, I was like 10, but it was like life-changing for me. I'm still friends with Terry Roach from that band. And we reconnected in my 50s, and we've become really good friends. So you know, I've had some really great experiences, but it probably wasn't like people would picture, where like the Rolling Stones were hanging out or something. You know, it wasn't like that at all. They kept it all a secret. I mean, that's the thing about the Muscle Shoals thing. When it was actually happening, they didn't want anyone to know. And so it was kind of like a secret society. I mean, like I wasn't, you know, I didn't talk about it at school. None of my friends at school knew what my dad did for a living. We were just the weird family that didn't go to church, but you know, it was like that South. But so it was kind of a secret that it really, my hometown is in the last like 15 years really like begun to understand a little bit of what happened there and celebrate it. And actually, tomorrow is my dad's 80th birthday, and the city of Muscle Shoals has declared it David Hood Day, and he got a key to the city and all this stuff. And so, you know, they're getting some accolades now, but Dad and Spooner are the last 2 left as far as the originals. They're all gone now, except for Dad and Spooner Oldham.
Yeah. You've been playing with Mike Cooley for almost 4 decades. There must be something quite instinctual going on musically on stage that you wouldn't get with other musicians. Is that fair to say?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. We always had a chemistry, you know, even when we were young and fighting, because when we were young, all we did was fight all the time. We didn't really get along. But we had a good chemistry, and so we kept doing it, and kept tolerating each other. And then at some point we outgrew all that and became really close. But yeah, he's great. He's, you know, I'm his biggest fan. So because I love his songs, and I love his guitar playing. I love what he does on my songs, and I love getting to play on his. And he evidently likes me enough to keep me around. So, you know, I'll hang on to that.
So you've got this tour going for quite a while, and then what happens between then and coming to Australia?
I'm doing about a month solo shows in December, or better part 3 weeks of solo shows in December, and kind of all over the country and the United States. And then I don't know. We're going to do our homecoming thing we do every year in February in Athens, Georgia. We do like a 3-day thing there that is like our home, coming home to Athens to the 40 watt, and we'll be doing that. But other than that, I don't think we're really playing much until we come to Australia. I think that's going to be like when we kick off the year. We are going to play a good bit next year, I think, after that.
Yeah. Well, Patterson Hood, it's been great to chat, and we look forward to seeing you down here very soon.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. What city are you in?
I'm in Melbourne.
Okay, great. Well, I can't wait to see your city. I hated missing it last time, so I'm really excited to come back.
Yeah, I'm sure it's changed a bit too.
Oh, awesome. Well, everything does. So, all right. Well, have a great one. Thank you.